Hello, welcome to the first lecture of this course, Introduction to Medical Affairs and the Role of MSLs. In this session, we will understand the landscape of field medical teams and MSLs, including the roles and responsibilities, including also mapping of both internal and external stakeholders for MSLs. In addition, we will discuss the key differences between the roles of MSL and other customer facing roles, including a newly introduced role of health solution partners, which is a commercial role. Also, we will talk about the mandatory cross functional communication and collaboration needed from the field medical colleagues or the MSLs. In order to understand the role of MSLs and customer facing medical in general, we need to recall the evolution that happened in the industry and also in the medical affairs during the last decade. This is because this evolution was the main reason for adding a lot of responsibilities and expectations from the field medical teams and MSLs. And by the way, during this course, the terms field medical and customer facing medical and also MSLs will be used interchangeably, but they all refer to the same concept. So, what happened in the industry during the last 10 years? There was a major shift from disease treatment to improving overall patient quality of life. Adoption of technology, adoption of patient-centric approach, and also the cross-functional collaboration took a completely different dimension, reinforcing its importance and value. All this helped and led to more empowerment of medical affairs. Medical affairs has actually transformed into a strategic pillar in the industry, and the change was due to the complex therapeutic landscape and the demand for evidence-based decisions and the need for science-driven engagement with healthcare professionals. And here comes the pivotal role of MSLs, which actually serve as a bridge between the pharmaceutical companies and the medical community. They build the trust in the industry, provide strategic insights and innovation, and because of their background, they are in a very good position to navigate the regulatory environments and to be the champions for any patient-centric strategy. Let's take the roles and responsibilities one by one. And of course, these roles and responsibilities may differ a little bit from one organization to the other. And of course, always MSLs or field medical colleagues can be involved in more strategic projects and initiatives. However, now we will focus on the main roles and responsibilities. One, the field medical colleagues or MSLs, they are subject matter experts in the therapeutic area they are responsible for. So if one MSL is responsible, for example, for inflammation, he or she should be a subject matter expert in this disease area or therapeutic area. They engage with key opinion leaders, and key opinion leader engagement is the main function and role of the MSLs or the field medical colleagues. They support evidence-based data, whether from clinical trials or from real-world evidence. They offer education and training to healthcare professionals and occasionally for internal stakeholders. They gather and disseminate insights. They analyze the insights and transform it into actionable insights that can be transferred later into strategy and implemented accordingly. They ensure compliance and ethical conduct of all the medical initiatives. They collaborate with cross-functional teams effectively. They support medical communication internally and externally. They participate in scientific conference and get the conference insights, analyze it, and again transform it into medical strategies. So these are the main or the core responsibilities of field medical colleagues or MSLs. Now let's discuss the difference between MSLs and sales representatives. It sounds easy, but anyways, let's get into this. The core objectives of these roles. For MSLs, the core objective of this role is to foster scientific and educational relationships, provide unbiased evidence based information. While it is completely different when it comes to sales representatives, they promote and sell products to achieve sales targets. The nature of the interaction of the MSLs is non promotional, deep scientific discussions with the healthcare professionals. On the other hand, with the sales representatives, the type of interaction is completely different once again, promotional, product focused discussions. For the educational background, MSLs or all customer facing medical colleagues, they have advanced scientific degrees MD, PharmD, PhD. On the other hand, this is not a requirement if you are working as a sales representative. So, life sciences background, advanced degree, not always required. Regulatory boundaries. MSLs operate under non promotional guidelines and they avoid off label promotion. Usually, medical affairs colleagues in major pharmaceutical organizations they follow separate policy rather than the commercial colleagues. The commercial colleagues or sales representatives operate within promotional guidelines. This is a very, very important difference. So MSLs, they operate according to non-promotional guidelines in the organization, while in the same organization, sales representatives, they follow a different policy or a different guideline, which is promotional guidelines. Stakeholder engagement. MSLs they engage with the key opinion leaders, researchers, facilitate clinical trials with investigators, and so on. On the other hand, sales representatives they engage with prescribing physicians and pharmacists. The next comparison is more interesting because it's relatively new. So let's spend some time discussing this. As you know, we will talk first about the health solution partner, a new role that has emerged recently into the pharmaceutical industry. How this happened? As you know, the pharmaceutical industry is known for its dynamic nature, continually evolves to meet the ever changing needs of healthcare. One of the latest evolution is the emergence of a new role, which is the health solution partners. And this happened because the industry shifted from a product centric to a solution centric approach. And here, the health solution partners became a pivotal players in commercial organization within the pharmaceutical world. Of course, you have all the information in your modules, but let's focus on understanding this role and how it can add value to the pharmaceutical industry and to the commercial part of the industry. As you know, we will talk first about the health solution partner, a new role that has emerged recently into the pharmaceutical industry. How this happened? As you know, the pharmaceutical industry is known for its dynamic nature, continually evolves to meet the ever changing needs of healthcare. One of the latest evolution is the emergence of a new role, which is the health solution partners. And this happened because the industry shifted from a product centric to a solution centric approach. And here, the health solution partners became a pivotal players in commercial organization within the pharmaceutical world. One, the holistic approach. The health solution partners adopt a comprehensive view of healthcare. They don't just focus on medications, but consider the entire patient journey, from diagnosis to treatment and beyond. Their approach encompasses digital solutions, patient support programs, and even health system efficiencies. So, again, this is very, very important, and that's what differentiates the health solution partner from the medical customer facing colleague or MSL. They don't focus on medications, but rather they consider the entire patient journey from diagnosis to treatment and beyond. Their approach encompasses digital solution, patient support programs, and even health system efficiencies. Second point, their collaborative engagements. They collaborate with a broader range of stakeholders, including payers, health systems, patient advocacy groups, technology providers. Their goal is to co-create solutions that address systematic challenges in healthcare delivery. Of course, this may differ from one organization to the other a little bit, but again, the concept and the role are the same. Their commercial acumen is different than the sales representatives. While health solution partners have a strong understanding of science compared to the sales representatives, they also possess commercial acumen. They are allowed to identify market opportunities, understand health economics, and navigate the complex reimbursement landscape. The digital solution they offer, and this is the fourth point, in an era of digital health, health solution partners are well versed in the latest technological advancements. They play a role in integrating digital health solutions from telemedicine platforms to artificial intelligence driven diagnostic tools into the broader healthcare ecosystem. So, what I mentioned, from the holistic approach till the digital solutions and the type of collaboration and the commercial acumen health solution partners have, these are the main pillars why, or the main reasons why this role was created. And this is to satisfy the evolution that happened in the industry and the need to shift from a product centered approach to a solution centric approach. Once again, all the information is available in your module, so please spend some time to read about the health solution partners, because the difference between them and the MSLs are actually is a big difference, and this should not create any confusion. The only reason confusion will happen if we don't understand the role. Now let's compare the health solution partners and the MSLs. The core focus of the health solution partners is to look at the healthcare challenges from a systematic perspective and work on integrated solutions, while the focus of the MSLs is to engage in deep scientific discussions with healthcare professionals. The stakeholders' engagement when it comes to health solution partners, they collaborate with a diverse group, including payers, technology providers, health system administrators, and so on, a holistic approach. The MSLs typically engage with key opinion leaders, researchers, and clinicians. The nature of the interaction when it comes to health solution partners, they engage in discussions encompassing commercial, digital, operational aspects of the healthcare solutions. But for the MSLs, as we mentioned before, these are non-promotional interactions rooted in scientific exchange. The objective of the health solution partners is to focus on improving patient outcomes through integrated health solutions. The wordings are very important. Focus on improving patient outcomes through integrated health solutions. While the MSLs, they provide unbiased evidence-based information about the medication and the therapeutic area in general. The knowledge base of the health solution partners includes comprehensive view of healthcare, understanding the market opportunities, health economics, technological advancements, and also market challenges. While the MSLs, their knowledge base is deep scientific knowledge, understanding clinical trial data, real world evidence, and therapeutic implications. The collaborative approach when it comes to health solution partners is focused on adopting a holistic approach, considering the entire patient journey and co creating solutions with diverse stakeholders. The MSL's collaborative approach is focused on fostering scientific and educational relationships, ensuring healthcare professionals are well informed about latest research. Mapping the stakeholders for MSLs is a crucial step to ensure each MSL has clarity regarding who should be included in their internal and external communication circles. Let's talk about the internal stakeholders. The MSL or the field medical will communicate with the commercial teams, sales and marketing, will communicate with the regional and global teams, including medical affairs and marketing as well, will communicate with compliance and legal, will communicate with regulatory teams and research and development, health economic outcome research, access teams, and of course they can communicate with finance, digital teams. It may differ. However, what you see on the screen now are the core functions that are included in the communication circle of MSLs. Regarding the external communication, the first and most important customers for MSLs and field medical colleagues are the key opinion leaders, and key opinion leader engagement is the top priority for the customer facing medical in general and MSL specifically. Patient advocacy groups, academic entities, scientific committees and payers, regulatory authorities, and maybe other depending on the geographical scope and the rules and responsibilities defined by the medical strategy of the organization. In general, and as we mentioned in the beginning of this lecture, cross functional communication and collaboration in the pharmaceutical industry took a different dimension compared to years ago. And the importance of this cross functional communication and collaboration cannot be overlooked. It ensures the alignment across different functions, consistency in the approach, and also compliance in messages. For example, collaboration with commercial team will avoid any overlapping, will ensure scientific accuracy in any product communication. And on the other hand, engagement with research and development or their representatives in the regional or global teams will enable the medical, for example, to share real-world insights in form of research, and also they will be able to utilize the data for the best patient outcomes. Interactions with the regulatory affairs is very important for commercial and for medical. They need to stay updated on the guidelines and ensure compliance in their communication. Working with health economic and outcome research and access teams is mandatory for medical and for commercial. They will need to understand and communicate value propositions and health outcomes and access strategies. Training and development departments is an integral part of the communication circles when it comes to medical and commercial colleagues, and so on. So, cross functional communication and collaboration across the industry is not anymore an option, it's a mandatory requirement. And so, when we talk about the skill set needed for MSLs and the skill set needed for customer facing medical, it should include the ability to communicate with cross functional teams and deliver value in such communication. Specifically, I wanted to mention the collaboration with the health economic outcome research because sometimes this generates some confusion. Should the medical teams be responsible for the health economic and outcome research studies, or the access colleague and the health economic outcome research? And sometimes both are combined in one function. It depends on the structure of the organization. Are those responsible? So let me put it this way: health economic outcome research colleagues and access teams are subject matter experts when it comes to designing and execution of health economic studies, cost effectiveness models, and so on. While the medical, on the other hand, are the subject matter experts to communicate and present the data that comes out of these studies and work of the health economic outcome research, for example. So let's say that the health economic and outcome research team worked on a study to prove the value proposition and the cost effectiveness of one product. The best to communicate the results of this study and probably facilitate the communication to discuss with payers and decision makers the scientific value of such work is the medical affairs colleagues. And that's why the collaboration between medical affairs and health economic and outcome research teams, as well as access teams, depends on the name in the organization, is also mandatory. This is again another example of collaboration with access teams, including the alignment with access teams to understand and support the reimbursement strategies, and definitely this impacts the medical strategies and what type of engagement the medical affairs will have with payers. Again, as I mentioned, facilitate scientific discussion with payers to support product access. In all these scenarios, medical affairs, as we mentioned before, they follow the non-promotional guidelines, which allows them to, or policies which allows them to freely communicate the value without being involved in any pricing or promotional discussion. The formal decisions, and I think this is done by the scientific committee in different healthcare institutes. Again, the medical has a big role to play in this context to understand the criteria and requirements of these committees, communicate the data required for inclusion, and so on. Patient access programs, or if you want to call them patient support programs, the design, the execution, medical affairs plays an integral part in the execution of these programs and leading them to succeed. So let's stop here. That's it for the first lecture. I think we discussed a lot of topics, important ones, but please don't depend only on the lectures, and always review and study your modules, because many details, important details, are included, and it's very important to be oriented with different opinions and different details. Thank you very much for your time, and see you soon.